Welcome back, class. This is the video for the questions which I have uploaded or I have sent to you in WhatsApp group. So this is the solution, and most of you are able to answer the questions. So uh, it's great that you all had done a good job, but still those who are not able to answer, or those who are not able to send that solution, so it's my responsibility, it's my duty to give you a proper solution. Okay. And what are the mistakes or what are the lacking in answering, this is also we will discuss. So let's start the discussion. So this is the video for the solution of question. Okay. Inorganic chemistry, this is the inorganic chemistry I'm talking. So let's start the first question. The first question is uh, all the five bonds in PCl5 are not equivalent. So we have to justify the statement that all the five bonds are not equivalent. Let's start the solution of this problem. See, most of you are able to answer this question, but here as this is the bonding question, so you have to draw the structure, and correct structure is also, you cannot draw any structure, so you should know what is the structure of PCl5. So PCl has trigonal bipyramidal structure. Okay, so let's draw the structure. So P, then 1Cl, 2Cl, and 3Cl. So this is the Cl, this is the Cl, and this is the Cl. And these two Cl, one Cl here and another Cl is here. These two Cls are in different environment. So this is like this. So let's start the discussion. So first you need to draw the structure. This is the trigonal bipyramidal geometry of PCl5, TBP. I am writing in the abbreviation form. These three chlorines are at one environment. So we have two types of bonding. One is the PCl. This is by 3 chlorine atom. Okay. And another PCl by 2 chlorine atom. So these 3 chlorine atoms are in the same environment, and these 2 chlorine atoms are in different environment. So this is called axial position. This is what the axial position, not axial, sorry, equatorial. This is equatorial. Okay. And this one, this 2Cl, so this 2Cl are actually in axial environment. So this is in equatorial, and these two are in axial environment. Okay, now what will happen here? We have two axial bond and three equatorial bond. So two axial bond in repelled by three bond pair at 90-degree angle, and three equatorial bonds are being repelled by two bond pair at 90-degree angle. This is very important to understand. Two axial bond being repelled by three bond pair, and three equatorial bond being repelled by two bond pair at 90 degree. So this repulsion due to this repulsion, what will happen, this has acquired a larger distance. So here there is no need to remember the value actually, but still in order to understand, this is at 219 picometer, and this cl is at 204. Okay, so this, due to this larger distance, these two bonds are actually weaker bonds, PCl this and PCl this, while because of the shorter distance, these three PCl3 bonds are a stronger one reason is this, and because they are at same environment, so we have a uh, same bond length. So this is what the reason we have a different types of bonding in PCl5. And very important information here, uh, you should understand then which repulsion is stronger. We have axial bonds, uh, we have equatorial bonds. Okay, so these two bonds which are at a larger distance, PCl, and these two chlorines are at larger distance, whenever PCl5 is being used in any reaction. For example, let's talk about the example. If we have alcohol, ethyl alcohol, and reacting with PCl5, this is very common is reaction you might be knowing. Okay, so what will happen here, C2H5Cl, then HCl, and then POCl3. So what is this? You can see that this Cl3, what does it means? It means these three chlorine are atoms present with same environment, and the two chlorine atoms which are at a longer one at axial position, they will actually participate in the reaction. So anytime whenever PCl5 is reacting with a molecule, there is always formation of this Cl3 because of the same environment. So this is very important to understand. Okay, let's move for the second question. Second question is another structure based question. So why sf4 sf6 is much less reactive than sf4? Okay, so let's start the solution. First we will draw the structure. So here we have structure of sf6, as it has 6, so definitely it's a octahedral structure. Okay, this is the octahedral structure. And we have sf4. So sf4 comes in trigonal bipyramidal geometry, S, F, and two fluorine to this side and this side, and one lone pair to here. So this is again a trigonal bipyramidal geometry. Okay, like this. Okay, so here the structure is octahedral, and here the trigonal bipyramidal, but it comes in seesaw form. This is the seesaw structure, we had already discussed it, no? Let's first discuss the structure. This is nothing to discuss because it is an octahedral environment. So here we have a point to discuss. What has happened here, the larger lone pair bond pair repulsion. Here lone pair, here bond pair. This is bond pair, this is bond pair. So repulsion is occur between lone pair to bond pair and bond pair to bond pair. And we know that a larger lone pair bond pair repulsion, then bond pair bond pair. Okay, so lone pair bond pair repulsion is larger than bond pair bond pair. Okay, so this repulsion is larger. So what will happen, the bond angle decreases, of course, because the bond angle, this is 180. If you see that, this is in, so it will decreases from 180 to 173. And so as we have these two fluorine at different environment, so here the bond length is 165 picometer, and here it will be 155 picometers. Again, I am repeating, there is no need to remember the values, only you have to understand that these two fluorines are in different environment, whereas this lone pair and these two fluorines are in different environment. Okay, so this is what the structural, if you go for the hybridization, this has sp3d, and this is sp3d2, octahedral geometry. Okay, now as you can see that all six fluorine atoms, all six fluorine atoms are actually protected this sulfur, because there is no scope for the attack. Okay, there is no scope for attack in this case, no scope of attack. Whereas if you see this case, here we have a repulsion between these two. So if this will repulsion, this will give you a certain environment to attack. And again, four fluorine atoms are protected this sulfur, but this lone pair is actually capable to react, and this lone pair makes this molecule more reactive compared to this SF6. So because of availability of lone pair at sulfur atom, SF4 is more reactive. And with this you can discuss several examples, okay, the importance of a lone pair. Okay, because it is not sterically protected, sterically protected, whereas this molecule is sterically protected. Okay, so it is more reactive. So this is was very simple question. uh, Again, I am repeating, most of you are able to solve this problem, but some of the students have uh, not draw any structure in both cases. You have to draw the structure because you are discussing the structure. The problem is based on the structure, so you have to draw the structure and correct structure also, along with their geometry. Like in this case we have trigonal bipyramidal geometry, in this case we have geometry is trigonal bipyramidal, but the structure is seesaw structure. Okay, so you have to draw the correct structure whenever you are discussing any question based on structural problem. Got it? Let's talk about the third question. So question number third, I think I'll change this question here because it will be solved here very easily. The question was, why is ICL iodine chloride, okay, is more reactive, reactive than iodine? This was the question. Why ICL is more reactive than iodine? So again, this is the problem based on interhalogen compounds. We had already discussed the interhalogen compounds. So what is the interhalogen compound? This is the example of interhalogen compound, and this is the halogen. So interhalogen compounds are more reactive always than their constituting halogens. Interhalogens, interhalogens are more reactive than halogen or constituting halogen. Reason is very important. See, reason is what, because we have a different electronegativity in this case. I and in Cl, electronegativity difference is there always, but in case of iodine and iodine we have same electronegativity. So because of this bond is stronger, whereas this bond is weaker because of difference of electronegativity. Reason is very important. And because this bond is weaker, it can easily break, and if it is easily break, it will be more reactive. So whenever you are going to discuss or you're going to write answer of such kind of questions in examination, you have to discuss in a specific pattern, the correct reason, the specific reason. If you are going to write blah 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 things, and the main important thing is what? Because of the electronegativity difference, because of electronegativity difference, ICl bond become weaker, so it will break easily, whereas II bond is stronger, it will not break easily, and hence ICl will be more reactive. This is the very short and correct answer uh, to of this question. Okay, so this is my humble request to all of you. Whenever you are going to discuss such kind of questions, the logical questions, the logical reasoning question, you have to answer, give your answer in very proper manner, specific manner. Don't go for the unnecessary writing in that questions. Okay, moving for the next question, question number 4, that is uh, explain why, explain why in spite of nearly same electronegativity, in spite of nearly same electronegativity, oxygen form oxygen form hydrogen bonding, hydrogen bonding, while chlorine does not, while chlorine does not. So this was the question. Let's start the discussion. See, explain why in spite of nearly same electronegativity. So we know that this is what the fluorine, chlorine and bromine, iodine. We know that the electronegativity of fluorine is 4.0. This is of oxygen, and this is of nitrogen. Nitrogen is 3.0, this one is 3.5. Okay, and sulfur, and this is the phosphorus, so phosphorus is 2.1, and this is something like 2.4, and 2.4 or 2.5, and this is 3.5. Okay, so the question was what? Explain why in spite of nearly same electronegativity, oxygen and chlorine. So oxygen and chlorine is almost with the same electronegativity. The value might be changed. I'm not saying that these are the correct value, but they have same electronegativity. That is correct. And you can see because of that also, this is the what this is called, behavior diagonal relationship. Okay, so this has same electronegativity, but oxygen form hydrogen bonding, whereas chlorine does not. So the very simple answer for this question is what? The size matters. Going down, size will increase, so size of oxygen is small compared to compared to chlorine, and because of this small size, because of this small size, what will happen? It will easily form hydrogen bonding, while the chlorine will not form the hydrogen bond because of the larger size. This is because hydrogen is also in a smaller size, so they will easily form the hydrogen bonding. So this only you need to write, because of a smaller size of oxygen, it will easily form hydrogen bond, and due to larger size of chlorine, it will not form. Okay, this is what you have to answer, nothing else. Question number 5. Here we have some uh, order we need to find out, the increasing order we need to put the in increasing order. So let's start that increasing order. Very first question given to you was acidic strength, acidic strength. So acidic strength in water, that was the question. So acidic strength water, that is simple, nothing we have to discuss. Hi, HBr, HCl and HF. Okay, because the reason is what, because of the bond is weaker in this case, weak bond. Okay, size, this and this has different size, because of difference in size this bond become weaker. So this is the simple reason, acidic strand. Then the second question was electron affinity. So electron affinity, as I had already discussed in that chapter of halogen compounds, electron affinity of chlorine is always greater than compared to fluorine. Okay, so this you need to write. Most of you are able to answer that. Okay, again size as I discussed you. Then the third one is oxidation state. So this was, I think, very simple one. Oxidation state order. So you have given H2S2O8, then you have H2SO3, and this is H2S2O3. So here sulfur is in oxidation state of 6. Reason is what, here we have a peroxide linkage, we had already discussed it. Okay, just draw the structure, you will get peroxide. Okay, and this is 6 and 2, so S is in +4 oxidation state, here that is in +2 oxidation state. So this will be the order. Okay, draw the structure in this case if you have any confusion. Then here we have the oxidation state of sulfur. Then the fourth one, oxidation state of phosphorus, and the values given to you, the compound given to you, H4P2O7, H4P2O6, H3PO3, and H2PO2. So here I'm adding phosphorus oxidation state 6 and 3, so +3. Here 4 and 2, phosphorus is +2, and here 6, 12, and this will be 12 and 8. So what is the oxidation state here? Let's write this one. So this is in +5 oxidation state. Why it is in +5? So structure I am going to write POP, and with one OH, one OH, one OH, and one OH, double bond O and double bond O. So this is the structure of this one. Okay, H4P2O7. So here the oxidation state of phosphorus is +5. And what is the oxidation state of this? The order is this one, 12, and this 8. So this will give you +4, no? So it will be +4. Just check it, no? So the order will be this one. And the last and very important one, most of you are not able to write this value correct, oxidizing power. So you have given BrO4 negative, iO4 negative, and ClO4 negative. Now see, what is oxidizing power? Oxidizing power is what? Its ability to undergo reduction. Ability to undergo reduction. And reduction means what? Electron are gained by a substance. Reduction means, reduction is electron are gained by a substance. So I'm not going to say that you have to remember the E naught value of everyone, but for the sake of information, just this is the E naught value in case of ClO4 negative. E naught value in this case is 1.65, and E naught value in this case is 1.19. So we have this is least E naught value, so this will be the most oxidizing. Okay, this will be the order: Br, iodine, and chlorine. Not iodine first or not chlorine first. Most of the time the confusion, bromine is the maximum power to oxidize. Okay, So this was the question you have to remember, because most of you are not able to answer it correctly, or in explanation is also most of you not able. So like explanation is what, oxidizing power is that ability to undergo reduction, and reduction is what, is electron are gained by a substance. Okay, substance. So with the value of this, if you know the, if you don't know the value of this, so bromine has a maximum power to gain the electron. Okay, so I think this is all about from solution part. Hope you all are happy to discuss all these things. Most of you are able to answer. Those who are not able to, please go through this video. And still if you have any comment, any query, or anything which I missed, please let me inform by the comment. I will happy to accept that, and we will discuss it in more detail. Okay, so thank you so much, thank you so much for your watching.